In it, but
Okay.
hey everyone, welcome to the Raw and Radiant podcast. My name is Becky Betts. It is February 18th, 2025, and we are at my favorite location just to come here. And this is my friend Ashley. Ashley has been in my life for several years, and we've kind of been doing a side by side journey. We don't have the same problems, but we've been kind of healing and doing the thing. And we go to church together. So it's always good to have Ashley in the room with me when I spout off something weird, and she'll be like, I understand,
Yep.
Becky. I understand.
I see you.
Yeah, you see me, I see you. It's been good. It's been a trip watching the past few years come unfold. I remember when you first started your journey, and I was starting my journey, and it was just like, we might be two little shit shows running around right now, but now we're kind of like past it. And that's kind of what I want to dive into today, is kind of just ask you a little bit about your story, and like, I have tissues if you need them. I got you water.
Thank you.
And I wanted to start out with the hummingbird. The hummingbird. She showed up today with a hummingbird, and I wanted to hear this story, and I wanted you guys to hear this story too.
So as I've been on my own healing journey, I've had the opportunity to connect with a lot of survivors and people who have been through hard things. And one of the survivors I'm really close with as well, her name's Mary Beth, and she wears a hummingbird on as a necklace all the time. And I actually wanted to know what it meant, and she eventually gave me one because the hummingbird, when it's by itself, it's just a hum. But when you put a bunch of hummingbirds together, it's called a tune, like their sound.
Okay.
So it's more of an encouragement of hummingbirds to think about survivors, speaking up. Like when we are alone, we feel like we're not going to make a difference in our voices. But when we stand together and we share, we are a tune. So
that's how we are in AA.
Yeah. So I liked the symbolism of that. And so there's a lot of, anyway, that's awesome. I grabbed it. So
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love you. So
I love you.
You can share whatever you feel comfortable with this kind of situation. I don't have a lot of questions. Like if it was one of my AA friends, I'd just dive deep into it. But I just want you to share what you feel comfortable with. And usually 5, 10, as long as you want.
As long as I want. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we could be here for 2 hours if you want. I've scheduled out. So
yeah, that's definitely one of those. My story is either you got the 5-minute version or the 2-hour version. Yeah. So I'll try to find somewhere in the middle. But I usually start off with sharing with people that when I was 13 years old, my dad molested me. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but on that part, because I mean it is a very important part of my life, because I let's see, the details, right? So I was 13 years old. It was lasting for about a year, 7th, 8th grade, when he was he'd pull me into his bed and do things that were inappropriate at that time for a 13-year-old, right? With their
always
dad.
Yeah.
Well, it was about I want to say 8th grade. My dad used to pull us all in to their room or whatever. He would just get angry and yell at us for a long time. And we learned quickly as kids, just keep your mouth shut. His ranting will be over soon, So I remember one time we were getting, this is a very distinct memory. It's imprinted for sure in my mind. It was just one of those pivotal moments when I was a kid that he was yelling about, and I can't remember what we were in trouble for. It was just this insane, stupid thing. And then my 13-year-old self, almost 14-year-old self, all of a sudden blurted out. Kind of surprised myself that I even said it, because I just found myself saying, this is nothing compared to what you've done. And so my mom was in the room, and she was like, oh, what is he talking about? Or what is she talking about? Excuse me. And so then my dad excused all of us out of the room. I'm terrified. If you can all step back into your 14-year-old self, all I was thinking about in that moment is oh my gosh, what have I done?
Yeah.
So I walked down the hallway, and my siblings all went downstairs, and I walked down the hallway and sat in the bathroom and like just sat on the toilet seat, like, oh my heck, like terrified. And then the door and their bedroom door was shut, and I was just like waiting and wondering what they were talking about in there, and what felt like forever. Eventually, they came out, and um, my mom walked down to the bathroom, and my dad walked behind her, and he walked down the stairs, and like that was like the last time I saw him for a couple years. And in that moment, my mom like hugged me and told me like, I believe you. And my 14-year-old self was just like, I'm not in trouble. Like that was all I just did not want to be in trouble.
Because it sounds like he would get pretty verbally abusive, but like
Yeah.
he might have hurt you.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Well, the other crazy thing about that scenario when I looked back on it is I, it was silent in their room. And like once I became a mom myself and I revisited this memory,
Like you would be screaming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if my husband told me,
Yeah.
hey, you know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
explained what he had been doing, I would have been like the betrayal, the trauma, the shock, like every normal human being, every normal mother, in my opinion, would actually have.
I'd be looking for my golf clubs.
Yeah, like,
You know?
like be so
Yeah.
angry. But actually, my mom came out of that room with not a tear in her eye, and she has like a stone cold sober look on her face. And again, so this is like, I mean, I'm 40 now, but when I was processing through this, I was in mid 30s. So we're talking 20 years later, I'm looking back on this memory and realizing that is not a normal reaction that a mother would have, right? I share that because it ends up having some significant
because
meaning
it does.
into it later. And so my dad ended up going and confessing to the bishop, and he obviously like got excommunicated. And then of course they just went through the system. Like I was in DCFS, I'm sure, like, because I remember going to
the social worker.
Yeah, the rooms where like I had to sit in a room. There was a bunch of stuffed animals around, and I could tell there was cameras. I think they were probably just analyzing me.
Oh,
and
heck no.
Yeah, and but I'm young, so like I was just doing what I was told. Like,
well, I just picture Bridger because Bridger's 14. You know,
right? Like,
and
being in that kind of scenario. I mean, so is Cyrus, my son right now. He's 14 years old. Like, they kind of just are trusting
he still trusts.
Yeah,
trust me. My 17-year-old not so much.
Yeah,
but
as they get older, they are like they want to express their independence
they do.
more.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I ended up. So I was like, I did LDS Family Services like as a kid, and my dad, he did therapy too, and whatever. It was just the LDS Family Services system that we got like plugged into, right? And so my dad was out of the home for like the rest of my junior high years, and we would still
Which
go
was
to.
nice.
It was nice, but it was also actually really kind of hard for me at the time because, in my siblings' perspective, like it was my fault.
Dang.
Yeah, they, and so there was a lot of like I felt. I mean, I can look now and I didn't actually have these thoughts at 14, but I felt like the villain in the situation because I was the one that spoke up. I kicked up the dust, so I'm gonna. I don't know. My siblings are mad at me because dad's not in the home, and I don't even think they knew why. Like it was such a hush hush thing, so that all they knew was dad's gone, and it's because of something that Ashley said.
Yeah.
And so,
well, that's a victim response. That's just like domestic violence response, where the wife is just like, "I'm gonna take him back." Like I forgive him.
Yeah.
It's my fault. I probably triggered him to get
absolutely
hurt, and it must have been something I said. So I forgive him, but people don't do that.
There's emotional manipulation and abuse in that situation too. And my mom actually played a huge role in that as well because, like I'll get into, like she's not a guilty party herself, and so I'm speaking up, and so it was just like what they could do to make sure that I didn't speak up again.
Yeah.
So it was my sophomore year that when I started high school that my dad was able to like come back in the home. So it was like all of a sudden, he got to like come to like a basketball game, and then eventually like, oh, we have him sleep over at the house.
How did that make you feel the first time you showed up at one of your games?
I think at that point it was kind of like, oh, I guess it's par for the course. But I want to say like the first time like I saw him again was part of like the therapy.
Oh.
They made me go into a room with my therapist, and then my mom was with me, And I remember them being like, hey, he's going to come in and he has to apologize to you and he's not allowed to get emotional. And I remember feeling absolutely terrified. So I'm this 14-year-old girl at this point. I remember sitting in like a big, like single chair. And there was a pillow on it. I remember like crossing my legs and like grabbing the pillow, you know, like, and just.
When I did trauma therapy, they had stuffed animals, and this is 4 years ago, and I'd sit and hold like this unicorn.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, can I take this unicorn home with me? It was actually very like comforting.
Yeah, like it was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a shield of some sort.
It
And then
is.
he walked in the room and I remember feeling it just like my body was shaking, and I just remember feeling terrified to see him for the first time. And I don't remember that the time frame is blurry. Like I don't remember like how it had been a year or a year and a half. I'm not 100% sure, but it was from 7th grade to sophomore year, like is kind of when all this was going down. But anyway, and about, you know, he says he's sorry. He got kind of choked up, which I've learned now. Like my dad is so good at like emotionally manipulating. So is my mom. But like, anyway, so they were like, you can't get emotional or else like you have to leave. And so then he like controlled it. And then I remember my 14-year-old self, I just looked at him like that. All I could say was, yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
You know?
Good.
And which I look back and like, a little spitfire, you know,
still kind of are, dude.
Oh yeah. It was buried a little deeper back then, but
you can't change the world being meek, you know?
No,
you gotta,
it's so true.
You gotta
it's
be
so
you
true.
to change the world.
Anyway, so sophomore year, he's back in the home, like we're like, so I actually had a therapy session around this recently because it kind of came up, and he was like, I'm healed. I went to therapy. I've repented. And like, because I was the villain for a couple years and our family was broken up because of me, I wanted so badly, you know, especially being raised in the church, like families are forever. Like I just wanted so badly for my dad and it just to be a happy family again. And so his facade of like, I'm all better. So I'm like, I'm like, once a pedophile, always a pedophile. I'm sorry, but I wanted to believe it. So like, I mean, he was going through the whole repentance process and eventually got rebaptized, and he got rebaptized after I got married. But anyway, but he was on this path to healing and repentance, and you know, like we're taught, and I still believe this because I have seen Jesus change people. Like it's in scripture that like we become
I see it all the time.
Creatures, right? Like, and so I do believe in a God that can change you radically. So of course I'm gonna believe like, okay, like he's changing, like he messed up. It's and like I just freely forgave him. And so then just my high school life was like pretty good. Like I don't know, just kind of living the facade and like everything's
Plus,
peachy.
you want a happy family.
Yeah.
And you want to love your dad, and you want a normal relationship because you probably see your other friends having normal relationships with their dads.
Right. So, I mean, at that age, it's like so crucial to have like.
Did you ever ask your friends like, does your dad do this?
No.
You knew it was bad.
It was actually kind of more confusing, actually, if I'm being honest. Like I kind of like I knew it was wrong, but then this is weird to like think about, but like you're groomed obviously, so there's so much conditioning that happens to get to that point that I mean if there's just like it's like how the devil works, right? Like he can't just like throw this big sin at you or this big temptation because you're like whatever, I'm not touching
that. You
got
to ease it into it.
Yeah,
just
so
like
that's
when
how
a baby's born, the veil's pretty
right.
Sorry, I'm dealing with that right now.
I like it.
I have a 1 month
I like
old,
it. Yeah.
And I was babysitting her today, and she's looking above my head, and I'm like, "Who's here?
I know.
Is great grandma here?" She's like, "You're crazy."
No, I
get it. Low and slow.
Yeah, low and slow. So I think there's just a lot of confusion of like, oh, is this like what dads do to their daughters when we get to a certain age? And anyway, so there's just that inner conflict of like this feels wrong, but maybe my dad but my dad loves me, and so you don't. It messes with you. Like that's abuse, right? Yeah. So I graduated high school, and then a year after I graduated, I married my husband. So we've been married now for 20, going on 21 years. And
did Jesse go on a mission?
Yeah. He served in Germany, and he's 5 years older than me. So like when we met, like he was in college, and So of course I was all like,
Ooh,
college boy.
boy.
Yeah.
Plus he's handsome.
He's very handsome.
You're just like, okay, I guess I'll go out with you,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Well, I actually got set up on a blind date with his best friend.
Oh, dang.
So I was dating his friend first for 4 months, and I got to know Jesse in the
Oh.
meantime. That's how we met.
Did you guys all like sit down and talk about it? You're like, I think
After?
I want to date Jesse and not you.
Well, no, it kind of just naturally worked out. Like, so I got set up on a blind date with his friend, and they were roommates. And so the second day I went on, I brought another friend with me. Like, oh, there's a roommate. Well,
Mhm.
and that's when I met Jesse the first time. And that actually, I will admit, like, I'm like, oh, why did she get set up with him? Like, he's so much cuter than like.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then I don't know. We just became friends, and so I dated Matt for like 4 months, and then Jesse and I like, and I would even confide in him about my relationship with
Mhm.
Matt, and we were just friends. And it was so, which is great that we've been able to build our marriage off of a friendship. But and then it was like Matt went up to Utah State one weekend to go.
And Jesse's like, hey, Ash, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, actually, like I went up to visit Matt, and then Matt told me that weekend he's like, I kissed another girl this weekend, you know, just kind of like broke it
okay.
off. And then and guess who I called first? Like
Yeah.
crying. I called Jesse. So, and then it was a week later that we were like making out on his couch. So
Nice.
So he moved in kind of fast, and he did get a lot of grief from his friends. They,
Mhm.
you know, just moving in on it.
And now you guys have been married 100 years.
Yeah,
have 3 boys.
It feels like
You
it.
got chickens.
We have chickens.
I mean, you got a life.
Yeah, we have a good life. I do feel like Jesse was a godsend. Like
I do too.
like the more we like get into like our, especially with the healing journey I've done the last like 4 years, even deeper, which what I'll get into. But
well, I think that it's God knowing, God knowing that, like that one time I had that bad experience in the temple, and then I walk out and I leave a session, and I walk out and the janitor's like, hey, I'm glad that I saw you. I saw you walk in the temple and you got a bright light around you. And I was like, do you know what just happened in there? Like, I'm like, I really needed to hear that. And I feel like God set up that, it's just a normal person, but that's their job at the temple as a janitor. But the janitor saying, like,
yes,
you get like he sets us up for what we need. Like we just have to trust the process.
Mm-hmm. That God works with people.
Yeah, and like a lot of people don't trust the process.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, so I do feel like, especially with like the type of abuse that I now know that I came from, there's a lot of survivors that either end up marrying somebody that's like their handler, or like to keep them in the system, right? Or and so then they help perpetuate the problem and like become. It's yeah, we can get into that, but so I do feel like Jesse was like a literal godsend, and yeah, I love him. And
I mean, you wouldn't have Finn,
Yeah.
What would we do without that kid?
I know, yeah, he's so great.
Every time I'm coming home from work and I'm in a bad mood, he'll be out digging in the dirt. He'll jump up and he'll be like, Becky.
Yeah,
I'm like, hey.
I do.
I love that guy.
He is just, ever since he was born, just full of joy. I do love all my boys.
They're all so different.
Yeah. Riker's 18 now.
Yeah,
he just
nuts.
Yeah. Handsome, just heart of gold, that boy. Like he's just, I swear he's like 18 going on 30. Like,
he is. He's always been that way.
Yeah. And Cyrus,
he counsels me.
Yeah.
Becky, everything's going to be all right. I'm like, you're 16, bud.
Yeah.
Go be a kid.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
and then Cyrus is just kind of to himself.
Yeah, he keeps to himself, but he's also like very intuitive kid. Like he's really, really smart.
He's probably like a Pisces or something.
His birthday's March. I don't know all the.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
Oh, dang! I'll have to look into that because he's got a Pisces vibe.
Yeah,
just like stay away from me.
Yeah, he's just more reserved and like he likes. Yeah, he's always just been a little more reserved.
That's how Bridger is.
He's kind of like the silent wisdom kind of kid.
When he talks, you listen.
Yeah,
yeah. But when Finley's talking, you're just like,
yeah, Finn's. He's bubbly joy. I feel like Cyrus is like Jesse's inner child, like a mini version of Jesse. Like, yeah, I don't know. So that's been cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're all a version of Jesse, like they're just different stages. Finn just loves. I mean, anything Jesse does, he does.
I'm in the primary with Finn. So
yeah,
I mean, he doesn't change from on the street curb than in the primary class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's so great. Yeah. Oh, such good boys. I feel very blessed. Like, I have a wonderful husband and 3 boys. And Mary Beth actually mentioned to me in one of our conversations a few months ago, we were just talking about men in the world. And she's like, I think the reason why you had 3 boys is because we needed more Jessies in the world. Yeah. And I feel that, and I feel so blessed, and like I've had like a beautiful family life, and I wouldn't discount that ever.
No.
It's been challenging, obviously, like all good
Well, I
things
think
come with.
marriage is.
Yes, it is.
And then add your stuff, and
Yeah,
your things. It kind
yeah,
of confused Jesse at first,
yeah, for sure.
kind of confused all of us at
Oh,
first.
I know. Yeah, I mean, me too. Like,
Yeah, and you.
yeah,
I remember reading documents on top of documents that you emailed me, and I was just like, I can't even believe that this is happening,
I know.
you know?
It was like earth shattering. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, what in the
Do you
actual?
feel like God maybe sent you me at that time too? Just
Yeah,
kidding. Because
of course.
I always tell people like the reason why I got my endowments is I looked around and I saw all the happy couples that I knew went to church.
Mm,
And Jesse, he was building the house.
yeah,
And I remember
yeah,
driving by one day and it's like snowing or something. I don't know. Probably not snowing, but it was cold as hell. And he's on the roof, like shingling the roof at like 6 a.m. before he went to work. And I'm
yeah.
like,
I think we
and
were having a storm come in. He was trying to like get it waterproofed in or
something,
something.
but I was just like, what do they do different than what does he do different than all the dudes I date? He goes to church.
Oh, yeah, that
It was
definitely
just a
helps.
big thing for me.
Yeah, he's a good man. I mean, we can get into this too. Like, there's so many layers to this,
I
but like,
know. That's why I was like, we
he,
might be here for a couple
yeah,
hours.
he's had his own healing journey too, and it's been so cool to watch him step into like
Mm-hmm.
more of like a divine masculine role and like really embody that lately. And I have told him so many times lately, and I think he'd be fine with me sharing this. Like, his patriarchal blessing is very, um, how does it word it? That he'll be a healer of men's hearts.
Aww.
So I really feel like he's going to be helping a lot of
Yeah,
men
he
because
will.
there's, and he feels this like men need to step up. Like,
They do.
we need some good men that are willing to like, you know, fight for what's right. And
I'm single right now, so I go out on dates, not often because I can't stand it.
mm-hmm.
But within like the first 5 minutes, they're admitting that they're addicted to pornography
Wow.
or, they have their temple recommend and they can do this, this, and this, but not sex. And I'm like, sorry, but this, and this is
Yeah.
sex, and you're creeping me out, bro.
Oh my heck. I can't
I
believe that.
usually say I snort cocaine, not Smarties, buddy. So I'm not going to sit there and do like half measures with you in the sack, So
Seriously.
I don't know.
My sister's single too, and I know there's been a lot of crap
It's
too.
devastating.
So yeah, so I think that will be his healing path, and it's helping a lot of men because we need some more good men. But so I guess to kind of go, like, circle back around to my story. When so my dad, like, I don't know, we were like kind of like a perfect happy family, but not, obviously. Like, there's just like there's always drama, always just uncomfortable. There's always something. And I'm going to silence this
I
for
know.
a
I wish
second.
that I silenced mine, but for some reason, everybody got the memo that I was busy.
Yeah.
I haven't called.
Yeah. So, um, I believed that my dad had changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we started having kids, like, I'm do hair, and my husband works too, so we needed help with the
The
kiddos,
kids,
right?
yeah.
And so I let my parents watch my boys on a regular basis, and I didn't even once question him ever again.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't say ever again.
You
For
forgave
years,
him.
I forgave him, and then just like, oh, like, he's changed, and like, I never even questioned if my kids are safe
Mm-hmm.
with him or not. And I've had to do a lot of forgiving of myself around this because, like, again, once a pedophile, always a pedophile. Like, I was so conditioned and manipulated emotionally from them and believed the facade that I shut off all my intuition. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I no longer, I just, yeah, just kind of like did what I was told. So it was when Finn was like 2, maybe 3, and he's 10 now. It, this was kind of like this, I'd say, the starting point of my unraveling, where we were over at my parents' house. It's a normal Sunday dinner night or whatever, and people were, like, we had dinner, and like people were like, some watching movies, from playing a game at the table. And Finn, this was funny because at the time when Jesse was building our house, he was working on putting stairs in. And so, Finn, like, whatever Jesse does, he does. And
Yeah,
so
he'll
he's
be
like,
half up the ladder
yeah,
to
oh
the
yeah,
roof.
yeah. He wants to, like, he builds things and he
Mhm.
cooks and he does all
He
the things.
cleans
Yeah,
too.
yeah. He's a doer. So he was downstairs in my parents, like they had like a toy room down there, and we're playing a game at the table, and all of a sudden I hear a blood curdling scream from Finn, and he's coming running up the stairs, and he comes running over to Jesse, and Jesse was like sitting on a chair, and he was like sitting on the edge of it, so there was space between the back of the chair and Jesse, and Finn climbed up behind that, grabbed Jesse's shirt, buried his face like in his, like, and it was shaking and screaming and crying.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mom, you're
Mm-hmm.
like,
What the heck?
something is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just like a normal, like, oh, like I got hurt
You
cry.
got a scratch or
Yeah,
broken
like this
arm.
was like something was
Frightened.
wrong. Yeah. And then that gives me chills. Like, sorry. Like then my dad comes like walking up the stairs behind him and comes over, and he's like holding this toy saw. And my fire alarm inside me was like going off. And he's just holding this toy saw, and he's like, he was sawing the stairs with it, and he ruined the carpet. I'm like, okay. I'm like, is the carpet okay? Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
trying to be like,
and it's definitely plastic.
Yeah. So I was like, what you're telling me and what is the reaction of him? These stories are not lining up in me, right? Like, I was like, this doesn't, but you're kind of in that, like, okay, like,
Yeah.
don't react. Like, I just kind of, and we kind of like mull it over, and he was like, oh yeah, the carpet's fine now. But I'm like, I fixed it. And I'm thinking, Finn's just like pretending to build stairs because his dad's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I really was like, I have no idea still to this day, like, what really happened, but I know there was something bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time. So here, like, how old was I at the time? 32, 33. And so 20 years after my initial, my 13-year-old abuse with him, was my, like, 20 years later, like that, like, I didn't question anything. Like, all of a sudden it was like, God was like, hey, maybe you should pay attention. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started doing, I went back to therapy, like started like processing and what had happened to me. And it's so funny, like, being, this, like, once you're in therapy, you start learning like healthy boundaries and what they look like, and like what behaviors look like, and like, oh, like that dynamic in a family isn't healthy. Cause like, I knew our family wasn't, I wouldn't have called it toxic back then, but because I was always trying to like keep everything
very codependent.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I, being the oldest,
peace.
Very much a people pleaser, and being the oldest, like, I just wanted to make sure everybody, like, I feel like I kind of kept the engine running and just like keeping everybody okay. And I'd even owned, my therapist at the time helped me realize like my role in it, and how like I was taking on everybody else's stuff, as far as like owning, like, oh, that was their behavior, but then I would take it on and like, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, and then I would fix it. I mean, so a very codependent relationship with everybody, right? So the therapy started helping me kind of like, when you've been abused for a lot of your life, like childhood, I should say, not my life, Jesse's been awesome. You don't know boundaries. Mm-mm. You don't understand boundaries. And so when she's like teaching me healthy Christ-like boundaries, I'm like, okay, so like I can have a healthy boundary, and that's okay. And I let people walk all over me because I thought that was the Christ-like thing to do, and learned that that's not at all how Christ operated, So, so that was kind of like the start of the unraveling for me. And just without getting into like a bunch of details about the things that transpired, one thing led to another. It is like the biggest saga of a couple of years that eventually led us to just leave. Like, I was like, I can't do this anymore, and that was April of 21. So we're coming up on 5 years ago that I like just walked away from my family. And I
moved home in June of 21.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That's crazy.
Yeah, I got sober in September, so I drank for a couple months before I did it. But yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you're right. Like,
so we literally I remember when you quit hanging out with your parents.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, we were like you were saying earlier,
Yeah.
like we literally like our paths like started our
I was
healing
still
journeys
saying
for
the
the
F
same.
word a lot. I know I dropped a hard F bomb in front of you yesterday, and I just want to say sorry.
Yesterday?
You didn't notice?
No.
Oh, good. I did. I was like, oh!
You're fine. Oh, I don't get quite so like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
Yeah,
think I've said it in front of Susan too, once or twice.
I'm sure she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
She's cool. Anyway, yeah, so we left the family April 21. And to back up, in January of 2015, I have a sister that's 5 years younger than me who she had just like left the family. Like she had just gotten divorced, was just going through a hard time, and then just completely like went off the grid. Did a restraining order against my parents. Like it was just kind of extreme boundaries that I at the time didn't really understand fully, but like I had I knew she was having like flashbacks of stuff that happened to her from memories of my dad's dad abusing her. And so, and it was connected to like when she was like, intimate with her husband at the time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that all made sense to me. Like, oh, she's like uncovering stuff, but I was still in such a like defending my parents mode. But so in 21, well, this is a long story, but like I had no contact with her. I ended up being able to send her a letter, and I think I wrote it in like 2020, and then it didn't get to her till the end of 2020. Like it was December 2020 when she finally wrote me back. Like, and then she emailed me in December of 2020. I heard from her, and I just like let it be. Like I was like I could tell like she's happily married again. I'm just gonna let her be. Like I could tell there's still very much of a boundary of like. And at the time, she decided like I'm gonna send this to you for you to read, and kind of just to let me know like this was the kind of stuff that she was dealing with. And she emailed me the Glen L. Pace memorandum. I've talked about this, right?
I think you sent it to me.
I probably did, right? So like I read through the Glen L. Pace memorandum, and it's funny how like just it's funny how I look back. I'm like, how did it still not click? Like,
well, I can tell you why, because I just read a step 5 with Sponsy yesterday, and she had a hard time believing, like remembering her childhood, and it's a way God protects us.
Yeah.
Because just imagine like remembering all of that stuff. Like you would be in a loony bin, dude.
I know. Yeah. I believe it's revealed in layers
it is.
too. And I'm grateful for that. It's just still I was so like, oh, mom and dad are great. Like, yeah, like they're.
Well, it's a facade too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like half the Mormon ladies, I'm just like,
yeah.
Go throw your sourdough at the wall, Linda, and leave me alone.
I love sourdough.
I know you do.
Anyway, so she sends me this memorandum, and I read through it, and and this memorandum was written in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And Glen L. Pace had interviewed like 60 victims of satanic ritualistic abuse. So I'm like reading through it, and I don't even think I could even stomach reading all of it at the time. And I was like, oh wow, she's dealing with some pretty heavy stuff. Like I'll let her be. Well, in June of 21, so here we are a few months after I had like, okay, done with my family. And that alone was like a really hard decision to be.
I mean, well, you didn't have a babysitter.
Well, I'm thankfully at that point, like
they were old enough. And then
in 2020, Jesse's, because he's a firefighter, and so he works 2 days on, 4 days off. And so it was in 2020 that we started revolving around each other's schedules because of COVID. And he was worried about like, I don't want my mom to get sick. And now we're all like, oh, it's all a big fat lie, but whatever. Yeah. So for the last 6 years, we've been like when like he's on duty right now and I'm off, and then vice versa. So it works out great. So it really became a space where like we didn't need help anymore. Yeah. So like the timing was good. But where was I?
Your sister in the memorandum.
Oh yeah.
You read it. Couldn't really stomach
yeah.
it.
Okay. So okay. So it was 21 June 21. I decided like I need to write her back. Oh yeah, I remember. I was gonna say thank you. Sorry, bear with me, everybody. Sometimes like I had a train of thought, and then we like went over here, and so come back. I wanted. I lost my train of thought again. My brain.
You wrote her back.
No, it was before that. Oh, forgive me.
Well, we're
This
trying
is
to
definitely
talk
raw,
about a
right?
lot.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay. So leaving my family was a big deal. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's not just like an easy, like, oh, like a guillotine chop. I'm just going to leave you. Like,
Yeah.
that's your life. That's your identity. Like, I strived for 30 plus years at that point to keep that image of my family. Like, I wanted them to be what they weren't so bad. Like, I was holding on to that. Like, I'm sure you've had like similar experiences with just even relationships in your life. Like, you want them to be something else that they can't be, and then when you finally leave, like, you kind of grieve,
You do.
you know,
It's like
and
they died.
yeah, and that was even just the start of the dying for me. So it was hard. So I actually had um I had like a dream that it's like a very visual dream that night that God gave me, and it was this like, without going into all the details, like it was this absolute message of God almost giving me permission, because it felt like it was going against like my religion, it was going against like
Families are
family,
forever.
like I felt like I was doing something bad in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but I also got to a point where like we can't do this anymore. So there was a lot of conflict around that. So I was so grateful that I got that dream, because I felt like God came to me and was like, I'm okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of you and I'll take care of them, but you need to keep going. Like, you're kind of linking arms with these people that are just trying to like pull you back, and like I need you to like go. So that like stuck with me. So I felt confident that okay, like I'm gonna keep following this path, very uncharted territory, right? Anyway, so um I had a huge prompting in June of 21, so a couple months after I had left, and to finally email my sister back. So it's been 6 months since I got the PACE memorandum. Like, I'm just gonna let her be. And so we just started communicating, and it was really good. And then we eventually just got to a place where we could like meet in
Is this
person.
a sister
And
that I see all the time?
mm-hmm,
Okay.
yeah, it's like I didn't see her I didn't have a relationship with her for 6.5 years.
Yeah.
You know, so I was so grateful to have her back in my life. And she started sharing with me, hey, like, I'm
Can
like,
you
what?
remember?
Basically, she was telling me like all of the reasons why she left the family, what she was remembering, and she's describing this abuse from both of our parents. And then I'm like, okay, you like, for one of them, she was 5 years old, and I'm 5 years older than her, so I'm like, I would have been 10, and like I had no even inkling of like, what are you talking about? Like, I felt what she was saying was true, but then my brain was like, no visual whatsoever.
Yeah.
So she kept sharing memory after memory after memory with me, and she's like, yeah, you were there for this one, you were, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was like heavy stuff. Like, she's like sharing with me about like memories of my mom like wearing like a dark cloak and holding a candle and being in a circle, and like children in the middle. And I'm like, okay, this is connecting to the PACE memorandum now. Like, I'm getting it. And I even could feel my body being like, okay, I could see dad doing that, but like, but mom, like, no way, right? And I just, ugh, she's sharing all this stuff with me, and like the things that she's remembering, and it's just, it seriously is like the Epstein files stuff that we're seeing right now. I mean, here we are like 5 years later after like me waking up to all this, and even discovering that that kind of abuse is even a thing, right? For myself.
In Bountiful, Utah.
In Bountiful, Utah, right? And then now here we are 5 years later, and the world is finally seeing that like this stuff is legit, right?
Yeah.
Like, they drink blood and they sacrifice children, they eat children, like all of these memories, like for her, what she was sharing with me. And so then I started like, okay, Lord, I want to know, like, is this, I mean, I think my story's a little bit different. Like, I didn't just have a flashback one day. Like, it was kind of like him leading me to this information slowly, like, here's a PACE memorandum. And then even like before the PACE memorandum, like during COVID, like I remember someone, like, I kind of started understanding and seeing and hearing about the Illuminati level of this kind of stuff, which is the Epstein, like what they're doing. Like, so I feel like God was like, here, learn about it on like the world stage, and then like, here, learn it in your, like, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of ease my way into it so I could, yeah. So it was obviously earth shattering to learn, like, oh my gosh.
Did you ever get hypnotized or anything, or want to know on that level? Did you ever?
Oh, like in hypnotherapy?
Yeah.
I never sought out hypnotherapy. I've been very prayerful about how I go about therapy.
I think that's the best part.
Because I think there's different healing modalities that can help you. And I feel like some are going to resonate with someone else.
I could never get hypnotized.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think there is like hypnotism even in this abuse that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Oh.
like, and so there's that. And then, and they drug you too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that helps with the disassociation. And it's so traumatic that you just disassociate. Like, you're just like, my spirit would leave my body.
Yeah.
So once I started praying, and like I was like seeking, like I was willing to be like, okay, Lord, if this is my story, like I need to know for myself, and I need, and then that was like me starting to open the door, and then that was when like the memory started coming. And I was working with an inner child therapist. I found her, like God was like, again, working through people, like we were talking about earlier, like someone I was working with at the time, in like a network marketing business. Like, she was just a friend. It's like, oh, you could go. Like, I would have never met this lady had it not been for. Anyway, it's just kind of cool.
That was just a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
No.
What did you do a few weeks ago that you were telling me at church?
Oh, the new therapist.
Yeah.
The behind the curtain stuff. Yeah, that's another healing
Something else.
modality. Yeah. No, this was in late 21. Like, so August of 21. Like, I found this girl doing inner child therapy work, and then that's when I just slowly started remembering things, like for example.
And you were a mess.
Oh, I was such
you
a mess.
You were a mess for
and
like
it was
2 years, maybe?
Yeah, and it didn't help like during COVID time either.
Yeah, no, and all of our neighbors were assholes.
Yeah, it was hard. Our ward was really hard on me during the time.
Yeah.
I could not go to church wearing a mask.
Yeah,
like I couldn't, and especially I kind of, man, I know everyone had major emotions around COVID, and that's fine. There was an array of it. But I was remembering all of this stuff, and like part of the abuse, like I was strangled. I was, like I was baptized in blood, and I'm like remembering these horrific things. And honestly, putting a mask on my face during that time, it actually would trigger all of that for me.
Yeah.
And so emotionally, and principally, because I was like, this is COVID stupid. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not participating. And I think it was also a way of, I was recognizing the abuse side of COVID, like the manipulation.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think there was also part of me of like, I can say no this time. Like, as a kid growing up being abused, I couldn't say no, really. Yeah. And so it was like, I'm going to, nope, I'm standing up for like, I'm not doing this, but I also emotionally could not handle it. So I go to church, man, I end up getting a letter in the mail by someone in our ward. I still don't know who it is to this day, but like basically telling me that
I've tracked it down.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Basically telling me that I'm a bad Mormon because I don't wear my mask to church, and there's no way I'm actually teaching my boys the gospel of Christ, and because I'm not following the prophet, we're not wearing my mask. And anyway, it was just like, you have no idea the hell that I am like living through right now, and like what I'm recovering. And I mean, I'm so different now. Like, had I gotten that now, I'd be like, okay, whatever, I don't care. But like, I was already like, my world was falling apart. Like, I come to realize, like, okay, going back to 13-year-old me and my mom coming out of the bathroom when she has no emotion on her face whatsoever. And now I'm like, why would she? She's also actively abusing me from, so I
the only thing different is he went rogue with it.
Yeah.
That's
why I've discovered they were doing this stuff together from the time I was born up until 13. And my dad takes me privately aside, and I'm awake for one. And
you're not drugged.
I'm not drugged. And so like, I'm remembering everything. So yeah, I think his like excommunication and all that was like his punishment for their breaking their coven rules that they have. And hi. Good, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, okay, sorry. Like a heavy topic all of a sudden. I don't want to like.
And they're like, there's a note, but some people can't read.
That's okay. So. Yeah, so what was I saying about, like he did stuff outside of like their coven, right? Yeah. So my world was just like, that's actually when I really started my grieving process. Like, that's when my parents died to me. Like, when you realize like oh my gosh, they are not the good Mormons that I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they were, and striving to be, like no one's perfect. Like when you realize that, I mean, my mom was in the Stake Relief Society
Yeah.
presidency, and, we went to church every single week. Just that was like the most perfected facade. And then you start to realize what I grew up in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have parents that are Satanists that
Mm-hmm.
are doing horrific things to me. And remembering just the stuff I would remember, it was a lot. Like it was, so from the fall of 21, I did intense therapy for like a good year and a half, and then I kind of needed a break. Like it was kind of like ran its course. Like it's almost like I got to know what had happened to me, right? Like the baptism, I needed to know that. Like I was baptized in the LDS Church, and then I
Mm-hmm.
was also baptized in the LDS Church of Satan is what
Mm-hmm.
they call it. And it's like you're baptized in blood. Like everything's a mockery of Christ, and they they terrify you. I think, have you been seeing like adrenochrome on the Epstein files and whatever?
No.
I mean, this is
Well,
like, is
just
this
tell
too
me what it
deep?
is, because I've probably seen it. I
Yeah,
just don't know what the name is.
yeah.
No, it's not too deep.
So adrenochrome is produced in the blood when a child is terrified.
Oh,
So they'll torture them.
the endorphins and stuff.
And then they extract that adrenochrome is in the blood, and then they will extract the blood. So I have memories of being tortured, strangled, all the things, and then my body going limp. Like a lot of these memories, I'm watching myself this happen, because like my spirit would leave my body, and like so my memories are me looking down on me or what happened, and like my body going limp, and like them rolling me over and extracting it from like the base of my skull. So like even still to this day, like if I have an adrenaline rush, or like I'll get like pressure like build up here, and so massage and chiropractic work like help that. But that's like where my body knows, like, okay, I'm gonna go, and everything's, this is where the release was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they have, and then they drink it, like, because it's like the elixir of youth. Like that's what keeps them young. So like Hollywood, there's been so many like little clips
Yeah.
like of them joking about drinking
Yeah.
blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a real thing. And then if you want to get even deeper on like the twisted cult side of things, if you look at Disney, there's movies that actually talk about this. So when you look at Monsters Inc.,
Oh.
what are they doing to children?
Mm.
Have you seen that movie, right? You haven't seen it?
I mean, I'm sure I have, but I'm sure I was drunk
Oh.
or something. Remember, I'm only 4 years sober. So.
You're fine. Well, like I'm sure
I was present as a mother, but I can't really. I mean, I was there, but I wasn't present.
Yeah. Well, in that movie,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of your viewers know this movie, but the concept of the movie is Monsters Incorporated, and so there is these monsters, and they have these magical doors that are connected to children's bed closets, and then they go through there, and at night they have to go and terrify them, and they collect screams. And then they have like these little tubes that get filled up, which is funny because it actually is red when it fills up.
Holy shit.
And then that is used for their energy, and how it is what runs their system.
That's nuts.
So that is literally describing adrenochrome on like a Disney like funny level, right? Which when I started learning that, I was like, oh my gosh. And then also like Tangled is another one where, and this isn't necessarily the terrifying, but it's the same concept, where she's brushing her hair and then she is youthful. The adrenochrome creates that youthfulness in her, and as soon as she doesn't have access to it anymore, she becomes old. So that's the concept with adrenochrome. So I'm remembering.
So they just don't know about Botox and fillers, or like what the hell?
Well, yeah, it's definitely a world. I'm like,
I mean,
I'll
get a cut, and I'll be like, but I couldn't see myself drinking a vial of blood.
Or like the Epstein files, like they're eating babies and talking about how it's tastes like beef jerky or cream cheese.
Oh, hell no.
Man,
this world is effed.
It is. It's a rude awakening. It was a rude awakening in my own life, personal life, like realizing like what I grew up in, and then you like pan out on the big scale. I'm like, we literally were cast down from heaven to hell, and you don't like. I think growing up, like we understand like, oh yeah, the world's evil, but that is like drinking and smoking.
Yeah.
But like, no, this is evil.
Yeah.
Like the depths of where these children are God's, what he cherishes the most, right? Like I was reading in the Book of Mormon the other night, probably like a few weeks ago. I'm in Third Nephi, and it's the part where Christ like asks the kids to come up, and sorry, this makes me emotional, but there's like this verse he talks about how he's blessing the children, and he wept over them, like in just this love he has for children. And I think it was like the day before I happened to be like reading in Matthew, and he's talking about how those that offend children are going to have a millstone hung around their neck and drown in the depths of the sea. So it was just this interesting polar opposite, like this mercy and this justice coming together of how he feels about children.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it makes sense why Satan would utilize, like, children are the closest thing to God, right? So let's like mock and torture and abuse and sexualize them at a young age. And so yeah,
It has me freaked out because now I have 2 granddaughters.
right?
So I don't even, I don't even let my boys like babysit. Like if they're gone for like if they're gone and then I need to do something for 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, that can wait. Like that, not saying anything bad,
well,
but like
precautions
yeah. And I think that we all need to take more precautions. Like sleepovers, not even a thing for my granddaughters.
Oh, it's not a thing for my kids.
I will be shutting that shit down.
Oh yeah,
my boys go on sleepovers all the time now. Well, they still do, but I think it's because they're vaping and probably getting stoned. But yeah,
that's another topic.
That's another topic for another day.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm way on to it.
Well, that was kind of was that an hour? I don't even know. Like, it's so hard to like get into my story without all the details.
Not even close, dude. We got 10 more minutes.
Okay, sweet. We did okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like, how are you doing today? Like, I feel like you're doing so good and you have so many amazing things going on. I feel like you're a lot happier. Your sister is like always with you. She threw you a birthday party with Jesse.
Yeah.
And she like welcomed us all. And then I told your mother-in-law that I was your best friend.
Yeah, she did tell me that. She did say if like that you were from the ward, and I guess she's like, oh, she must really love you then.
Yeah,
because
I go, I'm Ashley's friend from church, and she looked at me, and I'm like, I'm her best friend from church. Well, then she must really like you because I don't see anybody else here from the ward. Well, there's 3 of us.
There was a couple, yeah. No, I
feel like I've had to get pretty feisty when it comes to you a couple times in Relief Society, in front of God and everyone.
I really do appreciate it. It's nice to know people that see me and understand me, and like, I don't know. I'm shocked sometimes. I'm like, I am not what you.
But they're living in a bubble. Like, I also call Bountiful the Bountiful bubble. Like, we all just live in this, like, whatever. I mean, I was in the parking lot of All a Dollar the other day, and these people were asking us if we had voted and if they wanted, and I'm like, no thanks, and I just kept walking. But then I'm like driving around, and I see this elderly couple just giving this person their information, and I roll up and I'm like, do not fill that out. It is a scam, like I'm just like. And then when I take my
trusting,
we should not be trusting at all. Like, I went to All a Dollar with my granddaughter the other day, and she held my hand the whole time I was in that store because I don't want her to get kidnapped.
I know.
And it's so sad that I'm like have to feel that way.
I know.
In Bountiful.
I know. Yeah, like I don't know. I think we liked the facade. Like, we're very like, oh, like all is well in Zion kind of vibe. And I think I'm probably coming in and I'm like, yeah, it's not all well in Zion, guys. Like, wake up. And I don't know. I think Susan actually told me this the other day. She's like, you create cognitive dissonance for people. Like, I kind of challenged the narrative a little bit with church. Like, in my journey, I guess going back to your question, like, I'm doing really well. I mean, I found I did a break for a while without therapy, and I'm working with a new therapist now. This coming June, it'll be 2 years I've been working with her, and she's been amazing to help me work through a lot more layers. And that's just the process, right? Like, I can't even say I've arrived. Like I don't think I will arrive until
No,
like it's just like it's a continual
it is.
process, right? And getting me to a place where I can stay more regulated and instead of just like every little thing just triggering me or having memories like I can't. I mean, one day I was driving and like I had a flashback. I had to pull over and for an hour I've got all these images like coming and I'm just like, ugh, like this is just too much. So it's nice to be in a place where like, I mean, I did have stuff come up in December, so a few months ago, because December they do stuff around the holidays as well. So like Christmas is a big deal for them. Same with Halloween. And so all of the holidays that we celebrate, they are too, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of children being abused at the same time, which is so sad. So I had my own stuff come up and
I think you always will because, like, with me, I've worked my steps. I've been to trauma therapy. I've done therapy. And then, like, just last night, I worked that step 5 with somebody else.
yeah,
And, like, her working her stuff with me, I was just like, oh,
yeah,
I remember that,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then, but after you work with somebody, you actually feel better. I was telling you about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm working some step work with a sponsee later tonight. Selfish because I'm going to leave there feeling better, you know? And
No,
you're
it
like,
feels good to
help.
be like on a place where you can turn around and like help the next
Yeah.
person and then they can do that and then they can do that
That's
the
why
next
I've
day.
started this. And I
Yeah.
know that there's other podcasts and they're like at a large scale, but we don't need a large scale podcast to get the message out
Yeah. Yeah.
and to help other people. Like, I know I took a friend to the Capitol when you shared your story up at the Capitol,
Oh
and
yeah.
she was just like, that's me, you know, like
Oh
she
yeah.
related to, you know, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the, and I would say that 90% of the step work that I do with women, they've all been sexually molested. All
Yeah.
90%.
It's actually a very
Uh-huh.
high rate. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure you know this. I think we talked about it at the Capitol at that rally back in August that Utah is the highest in the nation for
Yeah.
child sex abuse, and that 1 in 7 children are reported to be sexually abused.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reported cases. Like
Yeah.
most of my abuse is not. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, my dad at 13. That's
But your
he's
sister's not.
no like most of them haven't been, or if they
And did they
do,
even think about interviewing her when that
she's
all happened when you
she
were?
want yes, like they would like to interview her. She's just like in a place where
No, she's very quiet and meek. I'm talking about when she was a child.
oh
Did they talk to her when?
oh when
Mhm.
when I at 13
Because
when
she's a daughter too.
yeah I that's what's interesting. They should have interviewed all the kids
They should have.
and I don't think that they did.
Yeah.
I this is a little conspiracy theory, but I don't know. No, it's more of like gut feelings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, we're getting off track here a little bit, but we'll just go back. It's fine. The therapist that my dad had, he was friends with him for years
Oh.
after all that. Like, even till I was married,
Oh
like, he would
shit.
hang out with him, which, again, when you're younger, like, you don't know that that's not normal. And then now we know now, like, I've had, like therapists, if I ever run into you in public, don't be offended
Yeah.
because like I can't like
She won't acknowledge you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fine, I get it.
I'll just be like, "What up, Amy?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Whatever, Becky."
Well, like you don't just go hang out with them. Like
No.
he would come over to my parents' house.
Oh hell no.
So I'm like, now that we're like going to like big scale Epstein files, right? Like we're seeing that like everyone's involved in it, left,
Yeah.
right. It doesn't matter who you are. They have their system in place to keep their butts covered,
Mm-hmm.
and they can continually run this evil system under the radar and everybody that's involved. So I'm like, okay, why wouldn't his therapist also potentially be involved?
Yeah.
I mean, because he only ended up getting a misdemeanor on his record. Like he
Oh
should have
hell
had a
no.
full blown felony.
He
Like
should have gone to jail. They all should go to
yeah.
jail.
So he served a little bit of
Oh,
time in
okay.
there, but it was more like work release as well.
Mm.
Like he was living with his mom, and like so I know which was weird because his mom lived like around the corner from where we were
And she
living.
probably, it trickled down from them because you said something about your grandpa.
Yeah, so it is generational through my
Yeah.
dad's line.
Mm-hmm.
This SRA stuff. I know there's a little bit on my mom's side too. So
Well, that's probably how they met up.
I've wondered that same thing too. Yeah. Anyway, so been working with a therapist the last year and a half again, and she's been awesome. And working through stuff, and just it's a continual process. And this last year, so it was well, I guess it was 2 years ago. I shared my story on Jason
Mm-hmm.
Preston's podcast, We Are the People, because he started touching base on all this SRA stuff. And
That's what they were asking me at the salon today. Is it We the People
oh yeah,
podcast? I go, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they know all about it.
Yeah, when he first started, it was like very unpopular, and now it's kind of like
Mm-hmm. Well, we
the
kind of want to
buzz,
know,
right?
like,
Yeah,
we see our prophet in the Epstein files, and we're like, what the hell?
I know, it's so discouraging.
And like controversial, right? Like, you got all the followers, and you're like, of course they met. You know, you're just like,
yeah, that's another topic.
Holland wasn't in there though. That's for sure. Holland was not in Epstein files. Everybody, he's the best.
He's the best.
He is.
Yeah, I've just come to a place now, and this may be also part of my healing journey as well. Like, I've had to kind of break down even my own faith and like what it means to have a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
And really coming to understand that there is a difference between religion and the gospel.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, like, religion in my mind was the gospel. Like, they were just meshed together. And now I've learned through my own personal study of the scriptures and like understanding Christ more and like realizing like, wow, I did not understand him the way that he really is because of religion.
Mm-hmm.
So religion, the principle behind it is like, a moral performance based, like, you kind of almost have to prove yourself to God, and that one day that you will,
you can go to the temple now.
Yeah, like, know? And it's like, because a man deemed like you're worthy, right? And so,
and I'll speak up about that all the time.
Me too. Like,
you know.
So I started kind of like differentiating between the two of like, okay, like, I realized I was just putting so much faith in the church as like like the corporation side of things. Like, I was putting so much weight into it, and now I've kind of pulled back and I feel more nuanced, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you're not even wearing your G's.
No, I don't anymore.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Also, when I was
I couldn't do anymore.
I mean, that's part of the thing, right?
Like, well, yeah, that was like part of the ceremony.
The word, yeah. And then also, when I went through the temple, I really wanted you to be there, but you decided not to.
No, I was there.
Oh, you did come.
I have a picture of us in front of the temple.
Yes, you're right.
That was
but remember, it was like a heavy discussion.
It was because at the time,
was that the last time you've been?
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah.
And you went for me. Thank you.
Well, I was like okay with the temple at that point, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
What I was upset about at the time with the temple, like, we're like all over the place here, but
I know, but I wanted to talk about it.
That's fine. Is I was upset that they were requiring masks to be worn in the temple. Yeah. That was like, I was like, I can't wear a temple. So I was grateful, I think, when you went through that they actually lifted that.
Yeah.
And so I was able to go, and I was grateful to be there for you. And then just part of my healing journey, like the ceremonies that they do in the satanic rituals are literally the same as the temple.
Yeah.
And so I got to a place where it's interesting, because I used to say, I don't know, like, I could go and I was fine with it. And I think that deeper I got into my healing, I just got to a place where I'm like, I don't feel peace when I go there. I have a lot of anxiety. Like, it just doesn't, I'm not connecting to God there anymore. I'm connecting to him in my car, in my shower, like wherever. Like, I learned that I can connect to him anywhere.
I've had more bad experiences at the temple than I have good.
Right?
Just being covered in tattoos and, you know, like, if I go do baptisms for the dead, I mean, you can see my whole back. You can see, you know, I have hands, you know, it's just like,
well, and that's where in my mind, like, that's where the religion comes in, right?
The people,
the checklist that you have to like do to appear a certain way, this box that you have to live in. And it's like, I like learned that like God doesn't need to be in a building. Like, we are his church. We are his temple. Like, he lives inside of me. Something that, if we get biblical here for a second, just in my own like understanding, like, when he died on the cross and then the veil of the temple was rent, and it was the whole Mosaic law, right? Like, they had their court, right? And so they had the Holy of Holies and then the veil. And so the Holy of Holies was like the presence of God.
Yeah.
And they had to go through all these rituals, these cleansing rituals, to go and like be in the presence of God. Well, once he died, that veil of the temple was rent, and now the Holy of Holies, the presence of God, is everywhere.
Everywhere.
We have access to him all the time because he fulfilled that Mosaic law. Like, we don't have to go through a cleansing ritual to come to him.
Yeah.
We now like can just like enter into his presence anywhere, right? Like, it gives me chills when I think about that, we have access to him all the time. And that is what I had to learn. Like, because I thought I had to like do all these things to one day, like, okay, I'm gonna go to the temple. And don't get me wrong, like, I feel like if people are finding him there, do it. Like,
yeah.
I think everybody has to find God
where they find
something that my husband said to me recently. I guess we haven't even gotten into this either, but like, he's like, something that he's learned, he's like, there's 6 billion people on this planet, and that means there's 6 billion ways to find God.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you got to find, like, however it is that you feel connected to him. And for me, it wasn't the temple anymore.
Yeah.
And it was.
I have my recommend. I haven't been for a year because I wasn't finding what I wanted there.
Yeah.
And I know that's selfish, and I should probably go do my work and get all that done, but I'm doing my work right here. You know?
Yeah. That was kind of my feeling too. Like, I'm on a different path, and God's calling me into a different path, and I'm just like letting him guide me. And I think going back to, I guess we're talking about like Susan Holder telling me like that I create cognitive dissonance with people, is because I'm kind of walking a path, and I know I'm being led by God with it, that doesn't look like your typical Mormon pathway. No. I still very much love the Book of Mormon. I still very much love Jesus. And there's just the aspects of the church, the man part, that I am like, I don't want that anymore. I've had to break it down to like, what do I know to be true? I know Jesus is my savior, and he's real, and he's not just a good example or a good man that lived in history. Like, he legitimately is our savior. And I know I'm a child of God, and I love the word like so much. And like, to get to know him, we have to be in his word. So those, I'm kind of just like, keep it basic.
You're a Bible thumper, a book thumper.
I do. It's crazy. Like,
well, it's motivated me. Now you see me reading my scriptures.
I do love that so much when I see you with your scriptures at church, because that's where you learn. And like, I actually have learned so much more by being in the word more, and then even seeing like what we're doing even inside the church. We have kind of repeated history. Like, we kind of act a little pharisaical, right? Like, you've got the if we go all the way back to Mosaic law, right? You got the basic 10 commandments, and then you know, this is an example I learned recently, is he's like, keep the Sabbath day holy. And then years later, the religious leaders, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, like, they added 39 activities, rules that you could not do so that you would keep the Sabbath day holy. And then here comes Christ, and he's like healing on the Sabbath, and he's, you know, telling people to pick up their mat and walk, which was one of the rules that the man put on top of what God said originally. And he's like, I just said this, like, keep the Sabbath day holy. And then they're all like,
here's the rules.
So I feel like man tends to like take Christ's simple gospel. I think I didn't circle back around this, but I'm going to get to this point now. It's like, religion is like the moral performance of one day, shame-based, like one day God will accept me. But the gospel is like, oh my gosh, Christ, he died on the cross for me, suffered in the garden for me, and he paid the price that I was supposed to pay, right? We all deserved the penalty that he got. He lived the perfect life, and yet we get the blessing of the life that he lived, and then he paid the penalty that we all deserve. And then you realize like that's the gospel. Like, he is like, out of awe and gratitude, like, I'm going to follow him and be obedient to him, merely out of a higher vibration of praise and gratitude versus like shame and fear based of like, does that make sense?
So I love sharing that I wear a hoodie that says he left the 99 to come find me, and it's sheep, you know, or whatever. Love it. And that's just how he is. You know, like,
it's so
he
true.
Didn't need to do that, but everybody's like, how did you quit smoking, quit dating, quit having sex, quit having alcohol, quit smoking your pot, all in 30 days? And I was like, the only way I can explain it is like, Jesus,
Yeah.
you know, like,
And it sounds so weird to
yeah,
people because
it does. It
it's such
trips
an
them out.
untangible thing because we're so human, right? We want like,
Mm.
give me a checklist of what to
Yeah.
do. Like that's what we're
Oh, everyone
so
wants a
conditioned,
checklist.
right?
That's
I mean,
self-will, though.
100%. I keep
Mhm.
touching my microphone, so hopefully that doesn't.
It will just crack for a minute.
Yeah, but
So you
yeah,
launched something pretty cool
yeah.
this yesterday?
Well, I guess like yeah, official yesterday.
Officially launched.
I got my website up on Sunday, so 3 days ago. But yesterday, I am official with the IRS. At least was filed. So in this whole process of my own healing journey, um, God kind of put in my heart like last year an idea of starting a foundation, and the time that He put it in my heart, I was like not like I was in my own like deep stuff, and my husband was in his own deep stuff. Like he's a firefighter, so he's got his own trauma. Like we talked
Mm-hmm.
about this on the phone yesterday. Like he's got his own trauma, and trauma is trauma. Like my abuse is different than what like your trauma is,
Mm-hmm.
right? But like your nervous system doesn't know any different, and it still reacts the same. And so at some point, like you're at capacity, and it's like it's got to come out at some point, right?
Yeah.
So he's in his own healing journey. I'm in my own healing journey, which that alone was like, I also felt like hell was coming after our marriage. Like I feel like that was like the most challenging in all of our marriage that it's ever been. And I was so grateful that God gave me this like third eye view of like what was going on for us, to not be like, okay, this is it, to know like, okay, this is a season that's like a I like compare 2025 to the olive press, because it really did feel like crushing. Like this
Yeah.
last year felt so crushing. And then just the shift that finally happened is like Jesse got into a really good place. Like I got like now like our relationship is just like better than it's ever been. And now it feels like that crushing, like with the olive press, like you have to have that kind of pressure to produce the pure oil.
Yeah.
And now it's crazy because as soon as we got into this like really like solid place, like where we're like so good, sacred almost, and protected, that now God's like, okay, now I want you to
Now it's
start
time.
this.
Yeah.
So once I started opening that door, I was like, there's so much imposter syndrome with it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
still trying to like do my own healing journey
Oh,
and
yeah.
whatever, but I was prayerful about it, and met with a business coach, and I've learned a lot of logistical things with business plan and everything. And God put this vision in my heart, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I don't know if you ever had that experience where it's not of you. Like
Yeah.
once you have that creative flow coming, like it's godly,
It is.
So I've been working on it it makes me emotional because it's called Still Waters Healing Foundation. And I obviously started with the name, like being prayerful about that. And one of my favorite songs that I ever, like, if I just need to go cry and just like be with God in my car, like it's by Leanna Crawford, and it's called Still Waters, but it's scripture. Like the chorus is Psalms 23.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever want to go listen to it. It's
I
so
will.
good. But it talks about the Lord, as you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, and the Lord restores your soul and leads you by still waters, and brings that peace to you. So I just resonated, like that's what I want to do for survivors. I want them to find that restoration, and it has to be with Him, obviously. And then, so I start building out this program and like how I want it to look, and I'm envisioning this like community healing, kind of like what like it's almost like how you feel like with AA, like you have your community, and like it's so nice to have people that's like, hey,
they drive me crazy most of the time, but yeah, they're like my family.
Yeah, like just somebody that gets you, So I want to provide like a community place of healing, and especially like these SRA survivors. Oh yeah, I talk about, man, we are all over the place. I hope everybody is following, but we've been working with like Jason Preston. I've been working with him a lot this last year, and he's in his podcast, We Are the People. He's had a lot of SRA survivors on there, and I've been working with him a lot lately. And there's a need, like there's this influx of like survivors waking up right now, right? Like this PACE memorandum, that happened in the 90s is now like again, we're having another wave of survivors of waking up. Like that happened in the 90s, and then they were able to like, nope, nothing to look here.
Yeah.
And now here we are, the next generation. And it's like I woke up 4 or 5 years ago, and more people are just like waking up and having these memories, and they have nowhere to go.
Yep.
And they're all being kind of drawn to Jason right now because of the show that he's doing, and like he's got a pure intentions with what he's doing and taking on so much. Like he's getting sued. He actually just got, he's a member of the church, and like the church isn't liking what he's talking about, so they just got rid of him. Just today he talked about on his episode.
Maybe he should just start a new church.
Yeah. He definitely wouldn't. He's just, anyway, so there's just there's no place for these people to go. And so I am providing a place for these people to go.
Well, you can rent this location out whenever you want. We rent this room out right here, and it's very affordable. We usually just pass a donation basket and put $1 or $2 in it.
Okay.
And then that's so if you wanted to do it, and I mean, I might know the person that you talked to.
Okay.
Get that.
It's
me.
It's me. Okay.
So if you ever need to rent this space.
Actually, you know what? You might be an answer to a prayer, because I've definitely been wondering like where we could do something.
And we want, one of our mission, our club president this year is bringing more people in. And it's just like my podcast. Like I don't want to just, interview alcoholics and addicts. Like I want to interview like people that have survived what you've survived. And, just there's all of us, sex addicts. I don't know if I want a sex addict on here because
yeah, that would be a little
start making out on the couch in front of in my podcast. But just all the people, because we all have our own Goliath to conquer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so,
but I just want to go back to like the name of the foundation. Like, so the idea is teaching them how to bring stillness to their nervous system, stillness to their emotions, stillness to their body. Like it's not just like, oh, like you're fixed by going to therapy, clinical therapy. Like there's like different healing modalities to learn how to like regulate and bring stillness to your soul, because that trauma creates that chaos inside of you that you're flying off the radar, and that chaos ends up becoming either you deal with it or you try to cover it up, right? With like alcohol or whatever,
numb it out.
And like you just want to avoid it.
And most people do that.
Yeah, that's kind of the way. And I guess I could say that that year and a half from doing therapy, for the first year and a half, I took a break, and then therapy again. Like I got into a really dark place, and I was like, okay, like I need to learn to be still. Like, and God would be like, I'm not kidding you. It became like a joke at some point. I would hear him say, at first, like, okay, be still and know that I am God. And like, I would hear that and just almost be like, I don't know how, like being still, like, okay, oh yeah, I'm being still, But what he was actually meaning was like teaching me like to breathe and bring like stillness into my body with him. And it's been a process, like with my physical body, my emotional body, my spirituality, and bringing calming my mind. And so my coping mechanism was doing. Yeah. I would stay ahead of my pain just enough, right? So my numbing was to never be still, because as soon as I was still,
thought about it.
I thought about it. The wave would hit me, and I'm like, I can't do this. I got to a point though where I was like, okay, if I need help, and so I want. Anyway, so as I'm like in this process of creating this foundation, like I'm like, oh, this is what I want to do for survivors, and then it was so funny. Like as I'm in this process, I felt God being like, hey, do you remember when I told you like be still and know that I am God? I'm like, you literally gave me the solution, like from the beginning. Like that is the solution to heal, is be still and know that I am God.
Yeah.
So that's why like the still waters idea is bringing that stillness to
I love that,
your soul, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to teach that to the survivors. And so I have a tiered program that we're going to do. So tier 1, we're going to do monthly meeting gatherings. And I want to have either like education about the nervous system, or even about your emotions, or forgiveness, or essential oils. I want to do like somatic things as well, like where we're moving and like we're not just like sitting and having like a boring meeting. Like, let's go on a hike, let's do a paint night, let's do something,
get together and have a community.
Yeah, and have a community.
You can rent this place whenever you want.
Yeah, I think that would be actually really helpful. Because
look how cute it is.
I love it,
and it's a recovery club.
Yeah, I think it would be.
You would fit in perfect here.
It feels good, and it's been really interesting as I've been working on this, like who God has brought into my path.
Yeah.
And then tier 2, I'm launching tier 1 first. Like, so we're going to start with the monthly gatherings, and then tier 2, I want to have a 12-week program. So tier 1's going to be called Open Waters. You can kind of come as you go.
Yeah.
And then tier 2 will be called Steady Waters. So we'll put together a 12-week program that walks you through, like, let's talk about your physical body, your emotional body, and get to a place of so that you're self-resourced, so you're not like learning how to be still on your own as well, but give them resources and education, but doing it together with people. And then tier 3, I'm going to call Deep Waters, and go do like retreats where we have like healing workshops and breath work or sound bowls.
And people can sponsor. So if you're not a survivor, but you maybe know a survivor, you can sponsor the survivor to come to your program.
Yeah, and so donate. I have on my website, it's called stillheals.org. You can go to the donate button, donate page, and you can there's options like to sponsor a survivor. You can give like a,
and I think like $5, people are like, well, I might just have $5, but I think that like $5 is awesome. I think $10 is awesome because it all adds up.
Yeah, I'm going to put together kits eventually with the program that will, so they can even put money towards like a healing kit. Like, so I have that on
when
there.
When you get so busy, can I have your clients?
With hair? Sure. I have been wondering.
I'm almost ready to retire.
Yeah. That's been one of my questions. I'm like, okay, Lord, you're having me do this. And like, I also have another job, another life. So again, I literally just walking into this and trusting. And anyway, so it's just so exciting. And
it is really exciting.
And going back to Jesse, like when I first woke up to all of this, like, it was so hard for him to wrap his mind around. It was so hard for him to believe. And like, I was so mad about it for so long. Like, how can you not fully believe me? And then even seeing God's hand in that, like, I've seen him be able, because I mean, now he's in a place where he's all on board with this. Like,
he's always with you. He's always up on, at the Capitol with you.
He's been a support. I mean, now he's like emotionally all in with it and supporting me and like all about this foundation, wants to be involved. And I even see him having a huge piece, because like I know there's a lot of survivors that are in that same boat that I have been, that are woke up later in their life and they're married and their spouse is like, this is not like what we're doing. And there's a whole process and a whole healing journey that the spouse has to go through as a supporting. So I would love to at some point also put that into the foundation of some sort. I see him helping spouses, and I'll build this out eventually too. So like the 501c3 will be like a community healing side of things. And then I'm going to build out a 501c6, which is like more like a for-profit, where we'll have like a trusted network of different professionals that have like different healing modalities that I want to just provide just options for people, like, hey, like there's body code, emotion code, there's this behind the curtain woman that I'm working with as well. Like just as options, because like I don't really feel like there's a one size fits all with a healing journey.
So many things.
Yeah, and like what works for me isn't going to work for someone else. Like my sister has really loved EMDR and the advanced rapid therapy. I've just never been called to it and to do it. I've been prayerful about it, but God's like, no, I want you to do more of this work instead. And so I know that that's going to resonate with some survivors. And then, so I want to be able to provide that as well. So have a place for the community healing and then a place for the individual healing. And so I want it. That's what I ultimately am providing. And so it's a big day. Like I've been put my heart and soul into this, and everything I've been able to accomplish. It's been one of those things where I cannot believe how much I've been able to put together on the back end, because it's felt like heaven's been moving with me as I've been doing this. So
a bunch of green lights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's come together so quickly. And so that tells me like God's with me as I'm doing this, so
I told you at work at church a few weeks ago, just to be careful because the adversary, I feel like that little bastard's always on us somehow. And like, especially when we're about to like change things and like do amazing things. Like before I went and got my endowments, like, oh man,
Yeah.
I was ready to have sex the day before I got my endowments. Just kidding. But no,
Just
but for
kidding.
real, like be just,
Oh, I know.
you
Like
know,
the spiritual warfare that I
yeah,
experienced last year was legit, like so legit
yeah,
that I know as much as I know that there is a savior, that there is also an adversary,
yeah.
and he's very real. And but I also know that God is more powerful than he is.
What does it say? Crushes skull.
That we'll have power. That he'll have power to bruise our heel, but then we'll
we,
have power to crush his head.
yeah.
So, yeah. So having that kind of faith in, I mean, we have a God that walks on water, right?
Yep.
So I think sometimes when we see all the scary, evil things, like it is scary and like, ugh, awful and evil, and you see what Satan is capable of, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a huge piece of it is faith over fear, like
Yeah.
really is.
I've been digging into that. I
Yeah.
dug into that yesterday.
Yeah. And are you into like vibration or energy or whatever? Like I've seen like how like love is a great example. Like when you feel it, like it feels like you feel high, right? When you have joy, like you feel it in your body, but when you are feeling depressed and sad, like you feel that like weight.
Yeah.
Emotions are like that. And so fear is actually that weight that pulls you down, and faith is the opposite of that. It's like more that higher elevation where God operates. And so that's also part of the stillness process, is like pulling from getting like out of that low vibrational, like you gotta feel it all, right? And like we gotta know the depths of grief and pain and anger and rage and like all of those emotions that I think are godly. Like, I mean, Jesus also felt them, right? He in the garden and like during the tables,
like he
in the
knew
temple,
about it, like
right?
from day one,
Right? So I feel like we're meant.
He warned Adam and Eve about it.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
we're meant to feel those feels, but it's like staying down there is where life can get. I think especially the devil can like mess with you even more. So it's a matter of acting and saying like, okay, I'm going to take the next step forward, next step forward, next step forward, because I've learned that fear kills action, and action kills fear. And I feel like faith dwells in the action piece, right?
Yeah.
Like this foundation is terrifying and big and exciting, and like who am I? Like I'm a hairdresser, and like all of a sudden I'm like, I'm trying to write a business plan and like do a website, and like there's a little bit of imposter syndrome in me.
Yeah.
But then I also again believe, like I look at scripture.
You're trusting the process.
Yeah. Like you've got Moses that's like, I'm slow of speech. Are you sure you want me to go do that? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I do. And so
get to it, boy.
Get to it, boy.
Get to it, boy.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And it's been cool. It's cool.
It's been cool watching you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, 3 years ago, I was like, holy shit. That's some heavy stuff.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? Like I was freaking out 3 years ago.
I know. So was I.
Yeah, but now it's like we're taking our darkest days and it's becoming our greatest asset.
Yeah. Every time you share that in Sunday school, like I'm like, yes, like
I'm always sharing some weird ass shit in Sunday school.
Honestly, if I ever talk about you, like I'm like, she's that person in Sunday school that says the unspoken that everybody wants to be said, but they don't dare say it.
Yeah.
I've always loved that about you. I love that you just speak your mind and you're so Becky, right? And unapologetically you. And that's always been inspiring to me. And I think that I wish more people would be like that, because there's a lot of people that are just afraid to speak up because, it's just easier to stay quiet.
Yeah.
And I was in that space for a really long time with going back to 13-year-old me, right? Like I was like, well, this was what happens when I speak up. So I'm not going to. And now I've taken it to the next level of like, I'm going to speak up. And I mean, when you're talking about the adversary, I'm like, oh my gosh, like as soon as I went public with my story, I mean, the stuff that my family was coming up with and coming after me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it was hard. But I mean, I lost a close friend over it.
Yeah.
Like we were friends for 20 years in high school, and like I lost that broke me. Like I cried so hard over that, like when I lost her, and then she became friends with my sisters, and like that was like a Judas moment, right? I was like, are you serious right now? But I also see like God's hand in that, like
sometimes he takes out the trash so we don't have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm like, I wouldn't like necessarily call her trash.
No,
I
I'm
think she
just
was
saying.
just like,
I'm not calling her trash.
Yeah,
either,
yeah.
You know, that's. But
I don't want her to watch this and be like, she called me
no,
trash.
no, I don't even know you. But no.
But I mean, like, I just think at just some point, God's like, I don't know, like he knew who I needed in my close circle to support me as I like move forward with this, and because it is heavy stuff, and so I don't know, like the process, the cleansing process for me it's painful and joyful at the same time, right? Which I think you probably would agree with, like with your healing journey. So I think that's.
Well, I love you.
I love you. Thanks for
coming on to my low income podcast.
I like it.
I love it. I got the lights.
Yeah, the lights look great.
So
yeah, that definitely helps.
I'm proud of you for the website, stillheals.org, and go visit that. Her foundation, I think that's going to be awesome.
I'm excited about it. I really am. Oh, I want to do like a gala, like a fundraising gala.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy that you just said that, because 10 minutes ago I'm like, this bitch is gonna have a gala.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me know. I've done. Okay. I can do anything.
I love that.
And like the first one will probably be about this big, but we have churches up the street. They're non-denominational churches, but they have we're having a huge party.
I love that.
There are 200 people.
Okay.
And we just sell tables to people, and then they.
Well, I'd love to have you involved.
I'll do it.
I have.
If you want me to be on the board of directors too, I could be like the secretary or something.
Jesse's actually my secretary right now.
Yeah, I probably don't want to be the secretary. I don't spell very well.
Well, like so I have a small board right now, and I'm anticipating it to grow. But I have a committee that I'm building for more hands-on stuff. Like, cause I know I'm going to need more hands-on with events, stuff like that. So I would love to add you to my committee.
Yeah, I'm on the event. I'm the event coordinator here.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and I'm sharing my AA story on Saturday if you want to come.
Okay. Yeah. When?
Here at 7:00
p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. With everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
Thinking about inviting my scripture study group, but
you should.
We'll see. Okay. Love you.
I love you.
Okay. An hour and